You've probably heard the term inner child, right? But what does it really mean when that part of you is wounded? Well, today we're going to dive into how our childhood experiences can, really shape our adult lives. We're going to map out a journey from understanding the past to building a much more empowered present. So let me ask you this. Do you ever feel kind of stuck in certain patterns as an adult? Maybe it's in your relationships or how you handle stress, and you just have this nagging feeling that the roots of it all go way, way back? You see, to keep our families balanced, a lot of us had to grow up way too soon, taking on burdens that just weren't ours to carry. It's a survival strategy, really. It can look like being the super responsible one, the family hero, or the peacemaker. But when we carry that same weight into adulthood, it can lead to burnout, anxiety, and this feeling that we're always, always caring for others at our own expense. That feeling, it isn't just in your head. It's a real echo from your past, and just recognizing it is the first, absolutely crucial step toward making a change. And listen, you are definitely not alone in this. As Lemonade user Emily Tan shares, so many people have this light bulb moment where they finally connect their present-day stress to feelings they had to bury as a kid. And that moment of self-recognition, wow, it's just so powerful. So what's really going on here? What's behind these deep-seated patterns of over-responsibility and people-pleasing? Let's unpack a core psychological concept that explains where this echo so often comes from. It all comes down to a concept called parentification. It's exactly what it sounds like, a role reversal. It's a serious distortion of family boundaries where a child is essentially forced to push down their own needs to take on adult responsibilities and care for everyone else. And it turns out it comes in two main flavors. You've got instrumental parentification, which is about physical tasks, the nitty-gritty stuff like paying bills or raising your siblings. But then there's emotional parentification, which is often way more hidden. This is when a child becomes a parent's confidant, their therapist, their rock, carrying these incredibly heavy emotional burdens they just aren't equipped to handle. And to give you a sense of just how big this is, researchers estimate there are about 1.4 million parentified children between the ages of 8 and 18 in the United States alone. This isn't some rare thing. It's a widespread, often silent, struggle. Okay, so how does this childhood experience actually build into those adult patterns we were talking about at the beginning? How does being the parent as a kid really affect you when you're all grown up? This case study of Nick is, well, it's heartbreaking, but it is such a powerful example. His mother literally described him as her rock. I mean, can you imagine the immense emotional burden for a child? To cope with all that pressure, Nick turned to substance use, which just shows the very real, very damaging consequences of this dynamic. I absolutely love this analogy from our sources. These childhood roles become legacy code. Think about that for a second. It's like old computer programming. It's outdated, maybe even buggy, but it's still running in the background of your mind, influencing your decisions, your relationships, and how you see yourself. And the impact of that legacy code is, well, it's really serious. Research directly links parentification to a higher risk for a whole host of challenges in adulthood. We're talking mood and substance use disorders, and just profound difficulty in forming healthy, trusting relationships. But here is the most important part, okay? That code can be rewritten. The cycle can be broken. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about healing. So let's look at the path forward, a journey towards self-love and real self-care. This whole process is often called reparenting yourself, and it's about consciously giving yourself the care, the compassion, and the safety you might have missed out on. As you can see from the steps, it all starts with acknowledging the past. Then you move to reconnecting with joy, practicing self-compassion, and finally, learning to set the healthy boundaries you couldn't as a child. So where do you even begin this process? Well, one of the most powerful and accessible tools mentioned in our sources is journaling. It gives you a totally private space to untangle all the thoughts and feelings you might have had to suppress for so long. Just listen to what user Marcus Lim points out. Writing things down makes the unconscious conscious. It helps you finally spot those limiting beliefs, that old legacy code, so you can actually begin to question them and change them. All right, another really gentle but profound technique is visualization. And we're not just talking about daydreaming here. This is about actively creating a mental space to connect with your younger self, the child who had to carry so much, and offer them the comfort and safety they needed back then.
This quote from Aishia Tan just captures it beautifully, doesn't it? Visualization isn't just wishful thinking, it's a real act of emotional connection and repair. It's a way to offer comfort to the part of you that still feels those old wounds. Now, holding all of these techniques together is maybe the most important practice of all: self-compassion. If you spent your childhood taking care of everyone else, being kind to yourself might feel, I don't know, unnatural, but it is the absolute cornerstone of healing. Here's the crucial point. Many parentified children develop a really harsh inner critic. Self-compassion, as Sophia Chong shares, is the antidote. It's about learning to treat yourself with the exact same kindness and understanding you so freely gave to everyone else. Now, this healing work is obviously deeply personal, but its impact, it goes way, way beyond just you. It's actually about changing the future. You see, when we heal these wounds, we stop them from being passed down. We make sure that our own children don't have to carry the same burdens. So you're not just healing yourself, you're creating a healthier emotional foundation for the entire next generation. And this is exactly why it matters so much. When you reparent yourself, you literally learn how to parent differently. You learn to create an environment where emotions are safe and love is unconditional, not something that has to be earned through performance or caretaking. And I want to leave you with this final thought, which is also a question, really. The empathy, the responsibility, the resilience you were forced to develop as a child, those are incredible strengths. So what if the final step of healing is learning to wield those strengths not as a burden, but as a gift on your own terms?